Okay, let's get started. So today's webinar is going to be about our ticketing management system with inside GreenRope. And what we'll be covering today includes the benefits of the ticket manager and why you want to set this up for your team. We'll go into setting up the ticketing foundation, which is where you assign your ticket team, you create the different categories for your tickets, and different settings that you can do through the system to help set up the alerts and notifications that you're looking for. Then we'll dive into GreenRope and build out a ticketing form, and then I'll show you how to embed this form onto your website. And then we'll walk through how do you manage these incoming ticket requests. If they've been unassigned, if they're opened or closed, what are that reporting and analytics looks like. And then at the end, we'll have a quick review and I'll answer any questions that you might have had throughout the webinar. So my name is Madison. I work on the marketing and implementation team over here at GreenRope. You can find me at madison@greenrope.com or even just on Instagram at GreenRope. So when we think about remote working, it's often there's a lot of things that come around with that. And a lot of that includes being productivity and communication are those big areas on where we want to improve. Many people think it's easy to hide when you're remote working, but it's really not. You need to prove that you're being productive and you have to have that open communication to build an effective team and to help your business continue moving forward. So setting up specific tools such as the ticket manager shows that productivity and opens that communication up so you can have a successful remote workforce. So a few of the benefits with using the ticket manager, first of all, is just organization. You have everything you need in a centralized location. You can manage your incoming requests, any updates and communication, and then also keep track of those closed requests. So since it's already integrated into your system, it really does help organize your incoming support or sales inquiries. It sets up efficiency. So you have a streamlined process. So as soon as a ticket comes in, you can automatically assign it to different people, and there is a flow to how you want to manage these incoming requests. By setting up autoresponders, team alerts, all these features we're going to cover today, it really just improves the speed on how quickly you can get back to your customers. By setting up different routing options based on the ticket category or type, you can notify the right person on your team and also move that contact throughout the account based on the type of ticket that came into your account. And then this just adds another level of professionalism. You know, you're moving away from the email shared inbox and you're bringing it into more of that system that you can kind of track and give your clients a consistent approach with how they communicate with you. And through any of the updates, you can notify your customers, you can keep them updated, you can also notify your team. And so these updates really just help with that communication flow. With the reporting in the ticketing area, you can refer back to any communications or conversations easily. It generates reports and analytics based on these incoming requests. And you can also prioritize different types of tickets and different requests to make sure that the right person is getting back to them after a certain amount of time. You can notify the people if a delay has happened and no one has responded. So you can really prioritize your clients through using the ticket manager. And then lastly, since it's fully integrated into your CRM, the contact who opens the ticket, this ticket is also connected to their record. So not only can you see the updates in communications through the ticketing area, but if it's a specific contact, it's also added into their CRM activities tab of that contact record. So how does this help you in terms of remote working? So again, it just opens that communication and it gives everybody on your team or whoever you need to have access to these tickets. It notifies the right person on your team or the whole ticketing team. You can give your customers updates. You can automatically assign individuals on your team based on the type of category. So for example, if it's a billing inquiry, you can give it to your billing or accounting department, or if it's more general, you can give it to your support team. So managing who on your team is working in which department, you can assign the incoming tickets. And then you can also integrate this ticketing form into any external site. So your website, you can have a specific page, a website tab. I'll also show you how you can create a custom email address. So if your clients email the specific address, it's going to automatically create them a ticket. And since it integrates with the email servers, email is still an important way on how you communicate with your contacts and clients. And so the way that the ticketing feature integrates with your email server allows you to alert specific people. You can create updates and edits to the ticket right from your Gmail or Yahoo or Outlook. So that integration is really important when you're working with remote, especially because there's a lot of different ways that your clients can talk with you, and email is a really big part of that, and we don't believe it's going away anytime soon. So we really wanted to integrate the ticketing system with your email server. You can set up that automation triggers and autoresponders for any new tickets that come in. So let's say a ticket comes in over the weekends or anything like that, you can automatically send them a follow-up and just have that communication started, even though someone might not be online to help them out at that exact moment. And again, since it's fully integrated into your CRM, it just continues to build this information base that you need to run your business, especially when working remotely. So with that, let's dive into a little bit more about the actual ticket management system itself. So when you're creating a ticket, what you want to do is you need to create a group. So this specific group will manage all of your tickets, inquiries. From this group, you can also assign your team members into the group. You can track the updates, assign resolutions that we'll go through. Then we'll dive into building the ticket categories. So the categories are the types of tickets that you want to start asking your clients for. If it's billing, accounting, general support, there's an issue they need help with, these are the types of categories that you will create. And then you can customize your team's permissions based around what type of tickets they need to be working on. We'll go through how to build a ticketing system, and you'll see how many customized options there are. You can add your company branding, collect specific information. And a really cool thing about the ticket manager is that it's single opt-in. So it's a single opt-in solution for adding new contacts into your CRM. So they don't need to have that fill in, you can add a CAPTCHA form to help, but you don't need to send them an email to verify to add them in the system. It's all-inclusive, adds them in. To help combat that, I'll show you how we can set up keyword blockers to prevent any unwanted tickets or spam bots from coming into your system as well. Then we'll dive into setting up those automatic triggers. So for any new tickets that come in, when a ticket is closed, you can have certain automation around those key points. Ticket updates, you can set to notify your internal team, as well as the ticket opener. So you have customization on who you want to see that update. And then you can create that special email address that creates the tickets in your account. So if you're using primarily your Gmail or Outlook, you can create tickets without even leaving or logging into your CRM. And a couple of cool updates that just happened with the ticketing feature that I'll show you. You now have the ability to upload up to 3 files per update. So anytime you create a new ticket or you're adding an update, you can upload 3 files per submission. And then also, if you have a ticket update that's a really important resource that you want to store, you can integrate it directly with your wiki articles. So I'll show you as soon as you create an update or you have an update that you want to save, there is a wiki button and it creates an article automatically inside this group that you can start using to build your sales internal team knowledge base. So let's get started with setting up our ticket manager. So first of all, what we want to do is you want to define your ticketing group. within the group settings area, you can click on that new group button. And basically this creates a dedicated ticketing group to manage your incoming ticket requests. You'll adjust the group settings. You can assign your team members access to this specific group. Please make sure that you have no clients in this group, because anybody that's a contact in this group can get the updates for the tickets and be involved in the ticket process. So this is only for your internal team. Next, within the group settings of this new group that you created, scroll down to the optional heading. Here you can see, you can set up the ticket update notifications for your internal team. Either they can see all the tickets in this group, or they can only see specific tickets that are assigned to them. This is great depending on how you're structuring your categories. If it's a general support ticketing group, that'll be great. Otherwise, if you want to kind of customize it and only show people tickets they're assigned to, in the group settings is where you define that. Another cool area to look into is the account settings. So within your settings area of the account, scroll down to the push notifications. Here you can activate the updates to your ticket. So anytime a new ticket comes in or updated, you can get a little push notification on the top right of your screen. And then you can click on that notification to open the ticket. So it keeps that real-time speed updated for your account. Right below that, you should see the area to block your keywords. So that would be right here. You can identify keywords that might help prevent any spam bots coming into your account. So if there's anything that you're trying to prevent from creating tickets, this will automatically scan those and prevent the ticket from being created. So now that you've created your group and you've kind of adjusted those little settings, we can go ahead and assign your ticketing team. So like I said, everybody that's a shared access user that's added into this group can be found within the ticket team area of your account. So this is a list of your shared access users that are also members of your ticketing group. From here, you'll see that there's different permissions which you can activate. The first one is the view team, and this gives that specific person or people permissions to see this panel. So they'll be able to see this ticket team area and make adjustments. The edit permissions allows this user to grant or remove permissions for users. So this allows them to activate and deactivate areas for your team. So this is kind of like that ticket power user in a way. You can also give them permissions to reassign, which allows them to open, reassign tickets to be assigned to somebody else. They can change the ticket categories or the status of the tickets, so they can manage kind of how the ticket is stored in the account. You can also give them permissions to delete the updates within this group. The edit categories allows them to create, edit, and delete different types of tickets that come in, which is the categories. You can give them permissions to edit your public forms. So this is, they can create new ticket forms inside your group. And then the reports area, you can give them permissions to see those reports and tracking that we were talking about. You can access that here. And then the last one here is the hide the updates to other assignees. So by default, all the team members in this group will receive updates to all of the tickets, unless we updated those group settings. So by activating this, the specific user, for example, Joshua and Ian, will only see updates from either unassigned tickets or tickets that have been assigned to them. So this kind of removes that everybody getting all the updates. It just shows them any unassigned and assigned to them tickets. So there's a lot of customization you can do when building out and thinking about your ticketing team. So now that your team is in the account, you have your group and your settings are ready, Let's go ahead and define the types of ticket categories and forms that you can create. So this is going to be done within the ticket categories area, and you'll click the button to create a new ticket category. Here you can see we have 3 different types of categories. We have additional information, demo request, and support ticket. You can see it's automatically assigned to people on my team. It'll give us a highlight. It'll highlight this alert after a certain amount of time, and you can have possible resolutions and activate workflows. So how you update that is you click into any of these, you'll see it's connected to the category. So click on the edit button inside this ticket category or create a new category, and it'll pull up this page. Here you'll define the category name, which is basically the type of ticket that a client can submit. You can automatically assign it to anyone on your team who has permissions into this group. You can alert the group if there's no response after a certain amount of time. Then you can set up the possible resolutions. So once this ticket has been closed, what is the resolution for why it was closed? And that just helps you in the resolutions area kind of keep track on how these tickets were handled and how your team is kind of working through all the incoming requests. And then lastly, once you close the ticket, you can activate a specific workflow. The workflows are created within the automation dropdown inside the workflow manager. So let's dive into GreenRope and actually build out this ticketing form so I can show you how much customization is available. So from inside your GreenRope account, you can access the ticketing within the app's ticketing area. And as you can see, I already created my ticketing group. So along the top is where you have all your options. You can have your unassigned tickets. You'll see your open tickets, any of your closed tickets, where the tickets were submitted from, and then you can search for specific tickets here. This is where you define your ticketing team that we mentioned, the types of ticket categories. And then the public forms is where you build out the actual form for your tickets. So here we have our 3 that we've already built. So let's go ahead and build out a new form. You can call it whatever you like. That's just going to basically create the new form in the dropdown. You can select a header background color. You can select a banner or a logo for your tickets, as well as any header text. So this, as soon as they create that new ticket, this is kind of the branding that you can add. You can add pictures and videos, buttons. I really customize the top portion of your ticket. You can assign it to a specific category. So right now I think it's more of a support ticket. You can define the language on how you want this to work. Once the contacts add in, fill out this form, you can add them into a specific group. So you can add them into your new group, your new signups, any group except for the ticketing group. So you'll see that your ticketing group that you're currently in is not listed here. You can also add some logic. So depending on if a contact meets a certain criteria or if it's a certain type of weekday, this is really good if you are, let's say you're setting this up for a demo, or if you have certain people on at a certain time. So let's say they filled out the form on any of the weekdays. You can give them into a specific group. Otherwise, if they come in on the weekend, you can assign it to a different sales rep or a different group in your account. So all of these groups have a lot of logic that you can kind of create. If you scroll down, you'll be able to identify the font type that you want to use for your tickets, the font size. You can define if you wanted this new information that's coming in, if you wanted to update or overwrite the current information. So if a client comes in and gives you more information, based on their email address, it's going to connect who the contact is, and you can update their CRM record. Inside the ticket, you can also add a geolocation map. So this is when you have the ticket open, you can have a little map there that kind of shows where the ticket is being submitted from, and you can add text above that map. These are the additional fields. So when you fill out a ticket, by default, you have to have their email address, because that's connected to the contact record and a lot of back end connections. But here you can also have additional contact information. So let's say we want their first and last name and we want that to be required. We can have their company, as well as any other information that you think you might need, just in case you need to contact the person more. And then you can reorder these by clicking and dragging. And you can also add a little bit of text right above that to give your clients a bit more guidance on what to fill out and why. So here we have the quick summary text, and you can click on any of these question mark icons to kind of dive a little bit more into it. But this is a label where you can, with just a quick summary on what the ticket is about. So you can set the default of what the ticket is about here. You can show the details of the ticket. It can be required, optional, or no. These are just kind of for your recording purposes. When you go into the actual ticketing, you can see, the quick summary, the details. These are just kind of those highlighted points. And then you can also set the default text here. So as soon as they open a ticket, you can have some information stored. And when the clients fill out their ticket, this is kind of the details on what they get on their end. So you can have the toolbox or just the plain text. So that this toolbox right here is going to give the client all these options, or just a text. And then the initial details area is where you can kind of give your client some guidance, especially, let's say, if it's a demo request that's coming in, you can kind of have a pre-populated details that the client can just quickly submit, or they can add to. Any of the required options above, you can either list it as required or mandatory. You can update that here. You can allow file uploads. You can have optional, mandatory, or no. There's also additional CSS that you can add. So let's say you are embedding it into your external site and you want it to match exactly. You can attach it to the style sheet or add your custom CSS here, which kind of makes it blend with your specific site and your brand colors and all that good information here. Like I said, the ticket is a single opt-in. And so what you can do is you can add a CAPTCHA form, which is those the little security CAPTCHA to make sure that they're not a spam bot. You can set that to no if it's more an internal team tickets, but we recommend you keep that to yes. And then the submit button text, you can obviously, it's going to be by default unless you define that here. And then you can also create your own custom button. This is where you can define, kind of using the drag and drop, what your ticket submission is going to look like. So there's a lot of customization that you can kind of do. This is when you are building out the actual form itself. So let's say clients have come in, they filled out the form, they've submitted the form. The next part of this is going to be after the ticket form has been submitted. So you can direct them to a thank you message or a URL. And so this would be your company thank you page. And once the form has been submitted, you can either keep them in the same frame, or you can redraw the entire page, or open up a new tab window once to take them to that thank you page. I like to usually keep it in the same frame. Let's say using an iframe. Once the form is submitted, it kind of keeps exactly where it is and then just displays this URL in that same box. You can define who the communication is coming from. So this would probably be your team. Here. And so Oh, this probably should be an email. I apologize. So that would be here, and then you'll define your email address here for the communications. So when the tickets are sent as updates, this is going to kind of show in their emails who it's from and the from name as well. And then the DCAM SPF right here, if you have not set that up, I definitely recommend that you do. Basically what that is, it validates your email domain, so anything after the @ sign, to get validated through our system. So it improves your chances of getting to the client's inboxes instead of promotions or spam or any of that. So definitely email authentication is a pretty big part of sending emails. So the new ticket emails, so once a new ticket has been submitted into your account, you can send this copy to the opener. So once they've been submitted, the opener of the ticket, so your client in this case, can get a copy of that or not. You can define the subject line of the ticket. So a new ticket was created. This will get a default with the actual ticket number, and then a quick summary placeholder of what the ticket is about. You can also define a couple other mastheads and a headline here. And then in the new ticket intro, so this is in that ticket. So you get an email as soon as the ticket is submitted, and you can give a little bit of description or back-end information about what that ticket is. Once the ticket is already opened, you can also customize these follow-up tickets. So any of the updates that are happening post-opening, so any of the updates and communications, this is where you can kind of customize that information. So again, you can notify everyone on the ticketing team, only the ticketing team, or only the internal team. So there's a couple different customizations that you can do here. By default, it's just gonna check and uncheck boxes. But you can also do this on a per ticket basis. These are just the back-end settings that you can set up. Again, you can adjust the subject line for your updates, masthead, headline, as well as the email intro. The ticket author signatures, this is where you can, the ticket opener can see, once you've submitted that ticket or you have an update, you can define kind of how you want this to look. So by default, it's going to be your first name and email. So in my case, it would say, updated by Madison Potter at madison@greenrope.com. So you can kind of define how you want your team's signatures to look, or just add a custom one here. So I know that's a lot of information that we talked about, but we did go through kind of new tickets coming in and then updates to those tickets. So now the more options area is kind of related to once the tickets have been closed and just kind of other options around the ticketing. So here you can activate a specific workflow. You can start the contacts on a journey in your account, which is a customized path. You can set up 2 types of autoresponders. So these are going to be kind of emails you've created in your account, and you can wait a certain amount of time to send them to the clients. Then you also have the customer first response in action. So let's say they submit a ticket and you respond. Then the client opener or the ticket opener doesn't respond to your follow-up, let's say within 48 hours. You can then activate a specific workflow for your team to follow up with them. Give them a courtesy call or any kind of check-in to make sure that this client received all the information that they're needing. Once tickets have been closed, they will be stored here within the closed area. And you have the option to prevent anyone from reopening any closed tickets. So let's say a client comes in 3-4 months ago, you thought the issue was resolved and you closed the ticket. If this client comes back and wants to reopen this communication or this conversation, you can reopen them right from within the closed area, unless you activate this, which prevents them from reopening it unless you have the right permissions. So once you close the ticket, you can define a certain amount of time before it kind of closes it for good. You can request quality feedback once the ticket has been closed. So you can send your client, were you satisfied with our service? And then the block keywords is pretty similar to how you do it within the account settings, but you can define specific keywords for this specific form. So the account settings were just kind of overall keyword management, and this is for your specific public form here. And again, click on any of these question mark icons to kind of learn how to do that, or the dash is excluded, etc. And then if you do want to, you can look into the Gmail schema here. And Gmail allows a special confirmation email to be added into the inbox subject line. Once your email has been sent out, you can kind of add another layer to this Gmail connection, and you can confirm information through your Gmail account. So once we save the form, I know we went through a lot of information here, but now you'll see that your new form should be accessible right here through the dropdown. And this is our billing information form that we created. This is where that map that we activated looks like. So you can kind of give your clients, we didn't add any logos or images, but those would probably display above here to kind of give that information. Here we have the emails. This is that toolbox. We can add some more files. You can click to add more, so you can add a few files here. And then you can add the CAPTCHA information. So let's say we're going to add a form here. You'll add your details, upload a couple files, and then fill in that CAPTCHA. If we created a new thank you URL, it should take us there, but I don't believe we just added that here. So we're going to now get an email with a quick summary of our submission. And then also, if we go into the ticketing page, you can kind of manage that from here. So you'll see it's automatically been assigned to Alyssa. So if we go into our team tech categories, you'll see that any of the support tickets are automatically assigned to Alyssa. So here, that's why it's not going to be in the unassigned, because it's automatically assigned to her. So that means if we go into here, our new ticket submission has the support category to assign to Alyssa. You can see where it was, who it was by, and you can access my contact record from here as well. This is going to show you the ticket that has been submitted, and you can also kind of view the updates from here, from the contact record. You can have that quick summary, which is just the submission, and then the status of the ticket is currently open, but you can quickly close it from here. And then you'll see now we have the new resolutions, and those were created right here inside the categories tab. Here's my resolutions that we did. So that's why you'll see that here. And let's say we wanted to make an update or view the ticket, you can do that right from here. So you'll see who it's by. You can create a new update. I can also then, when I close it, here you'll see the possible resolutions. I can also add files and images. And then I can define my audience. So do I want to email the ticket opener and the ticketing team? But sometimes you just want to quietly close this ticket. You don't really need to notify everybody. You can select only your internal team, which will then automatically uncheck this email to client box. And you'll also see a notification here, update is for your internal team only. Resolution, the client is happy. Yes, I am. So another cool area inside the updates, actually I believe since I closed this. So let's say we go into an update here. If you hover over any of the updates, you'll see there's a little wiki article right here. So let's say you are trying to build your help knowledge base, or you have a ticket update that is just, you really want to save and kind of store that for your internal team. You can click on this button here and create a new wiki topic. Whatever you want to name it, and then you can also assign it to a specific different type of wiki that's currently stored. So you can kind of organize it a bit more through here. So now what it did, it actually added this update into the wiki article, which I can show you in a bit. So from this ticket update page, you can add email addresses that you want to also update this ticket to. You can print the information, or you can also transfer the ticket. So let's say that you want to transfer the ticket to, I think, Ian on my team. Actually, hold on. Oh, and then you can confirm that you want to transfer it to Ian. So what that's going to do is it should change who the ticket is assigned to, and now it's going to be assigned to the next person that you transferred it to. So let's say you are working on it and you think that it's done. It has now been transferred from Madison to Ian. Or even a client on your, a client that you're working for. Let's say you're working for 3 different people on the same company. One person on the company has left, and you want to transfer it to another contact record. Now this ticket is going to be accessible within Ian's CRM record. So I hope that made sense. Please let me know if you have any questions in the question box. But there's a lot of customization that you can do with assigning, opening, closing your tickets, and also just within the ticket area itself. One more really quick thing I want to show you before we dive back into the webinar is each of these ticket categories that you've created, or the public forms that you've created, they also have a custom email address that you can email. So let's say you go into your information. You see where it says additional information right below the header. We didn't see it earlier because you need to save your ticket form before you do it. But you click on this little question mark icon here, and that's going to pull up a custom email address connected to your ticket. So if we were to go into our Gmail account and you email the ticket, what that is going to do is going to now tell me that I have a new ticket that has been created and it's been assigned to Alyssa. Here's the ticket. I will get a notification as well as Alyssa would get a notification, and it'll update, and you can reply from the ticket right from the email account. You can see kind of the status of the ticket, who is updating it, add more information here. So it's really seamless. You can just direct your clients to email that specific email address. And what it's going to do, it's also just going to create the ticket within your account here. So that's that new ticket submission that we just did. To embed the ticketing forms, besides the email that we just did, you can also embed it into any of your external websites. So within the public forms area, locate the specific ticket you're working on. Here you can click on the HTML button next to the specific ticketing form, and this is going to bring up a few other options. First, we have the link. So this is a direct link to the ticket that you are wanting to create and submit. This is going to show you all the details that you kind of created behind this ticket within the public form. Next, we also have the iframe. So the iframe is going to put this form into a specific box on your website. So the iframe is, you just copy and paste this exact source code right here. And what you can do, if it doesn't fit completely into that box, you can adjust the border, height, and width of this frame in which you want to store the ticket within. And then lastly, you can also create a tab on your website. So on the website, you can have a left tab using the code below. And so what you'll do is you'll copy and paste this HTML code into the source of your web page. And usually this is near the top of the HTML body tag. So embedding it into your site, all you need to do is click on the HTML to get the information here. So I know we covered a lot of information, so let's kind of dive into how we think about kind of building out your ticketing fee system. So first of all, we want to define our group. You'll define your group. You can update the notifications, set up your push notifications, and identify any spammy keywords that you want to look out for. Next, we'll go ahead and assign our ticketing team. So you give people on your team access into this group, which allows you to then define their permissions. And you can also automatically assign different categories to your team members. Next, once the team has been assigned, you can create these categories. You'll define these are the types of ticket requests that you want to have. You'll assign it to the team member if you want to. You'll set your possible resolutions for once the ticket has been closed. You'll set up your alert notifications after a certain amount of time. And then once with each category, you can also trigger specific workflows once the ticket has been closed. Then we dived into building our actual ticketing form. So we went through all the design and information collected. We defined the notification email, so who the emails are being sent from. Post-ticket submission, so once the ticket has been submitted, what kind of automation, autoresponders, workflows kind of you want to set up based on this ticket. Then to embed the ticketing form, I can show you that in just a second, but basically you have that link, you have an iframe, you can create a website tab, and then also there is that ticket email that you can email through your Gmail or Outlook or Yahoo, and that creates a ticket as well. And then in terms of organizing your tickets, you have the unassigned tickets, opened, closed. You can organize based on the categories, as well as the types of response reporting that's available. So I know that we've all been going through a lot recently with the changes with moving to a remote workforce. And so I really feel like this is a really good way that you can unlock your true strength as a team and build up these systems to give your team members the tools they need to streamline their efforts, take care of their clients, and just open up that communication. And so building a ticket management feature is really just giving your team the tools and setting up those automatic kind of notifications, alerts, and streamlining your process. So if you need any help with kind of thinking about your ticketing system or how to get started, you can find us over at support@greenrope.com. Here's our phone number. You can visit our help section, and then we also have a bunch of good resources on our greenrope.com/blog. So with that, thank you for your time and watching this webinar. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.